Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Captain America issue 700. And this did an interesting way of exploring Future Cap, and then kind of wrapping up the story neatly to explain how he got back to the present. So, this issue opens up, and we see Banner and Liang are talking about this, how Steve has been elected the king, and how that kind of like goes against the whole Rogers' ethos and all that, and that they've got this thing, this gun, and they're gonna have him surrender the throne. It's like, that's kind of interesting. We then see that it's been 80 days since Cap has been doing his way of trying to reclaim America and everything, seeing him fighting and all that, seeing that since the power vacuum of Rampart and King Babington going out, lots of other forces have been trying to invade and take over America. And we get some stuff of like Russians and Latvians and all that kind of stuff going on while he's talking with Ben as he's trying to do some stuff, and then he gets back to the command center and he's lamenting the fact that this is a lot to be put on him, while Liang goes, hey, don't worry, we're not here to do a coup or anything, but Banner's been able to get some of Reed's old tech for a time machine to send him back to the present. And he goes, no. Pretty much saying that we don't know the ramifications of what would happen, and that it's real lives versus hypothetical lives. What we then get is this giant stretch of time of seeing Steve trying to win this war, and it not going well. Food riots and everything. I mean, he gets some victories of helping rebuild what's going on as it starts stretching into like 300s and 300 days and all that. But he's trying to do too much. He doesn't know how to prioritize. He says he's been winning battles, but not winning the war, because it gets to a point where New York gets nuked. And there's an SOS and everything, and he goes, I don't know when to stop. And he says that it's time to either give up or go for Bruce's Hail Mary. And he asks them to send him back. And he goes that, like, hope isn't a plan. And Bruce Banner's like, that is like the least Captain America thing I've ever heard. Well, that's not really the issue. Steve knows how important hope is. And we even get that towards the end of this issue. And it's just hoping and that being the plan doesn't work. Just having hope, it's really weird to explain, because he's mainly saying that just having hope and no concrete ideas or concrete plan moving forward doesn't work. Hope is a good thing to have, but if there's no foundation of trying to do something with that hope, it doesn't work. That's what he's trying to get across, and I like how they've used that as we're going through with it. But he, of course, embraces Liang, and she calls him Steve and all that, and she tells him to look her up in the past and all that, and of course they send him off, because Bruce said, you should be there about a week before everything, and we'll be good. Well, it doesn't work out that way. It pretty much puts him right when he's getting frozen. It's like, alright, let's do this. We see the Rampart people being like, we got him on board. And it's like, yeah, then who's that? And then we see Cap fighting his way through the Rampart submarine. Babington, of course, is trying to figure out what to do and get ready to launch the nuclear weapon and all that. But of course, Steve gets in and tries to stop it, saying that he'd pretty much get uglier than he is now with the whole fallout and everything. But of course, the bomb is still getting ready to be launched, and Steve just freaking launches him into one of the ceilings and just books it. And we see the countdown going on since everything's been happening in this issue, and he's just talking about like what he'd said before, that hope isn't a plan. He goes, yeah, but you can't win without it. Cementing that fact that I was talking about, how you need hope, but it can't be the complete basis for your plan. As he's going and he's fighting his way onto the nuke and blows it up and sending his present self flying and free. It's like, wow. And by doing that, he has stopped that future from even occurring, because all of Rampart's pretty much taken out. And he's like, oh crap. And President Steve's like, oh, I don't even know what's going on. And it's like, okay. But then we see him writing a letter to Sharon about how he's still been like wandering the country and trying to find a place to settle down, and he knows that Tony has been giving him money and slipping the money into his bank account, and that he'd get it back at the next poker game and all that. I'm like, yeah, I know it's a little detail, but I like that camaraderie between Steve and Tony. No matter the weird crap that they can get in and what weird fights, they are friends and they're Avengers and they help each other out. It's just a cool little thing. But of course, he sends off the letter and all that, and says, like, towards the end of it, if she ever needs him or whatnot, just to give him a call. And the person that accepted the letter was Liang. It's like, oh, that's a nice way to kind of end this out and kind of just have us back to the present. Now, I know that we're going to be seeing, like, more stuff in the future with what this has changed with Rampart being gone and all that, but this was kind of cool to get us set up for what's going to be happening next. We then also get this Mark Waid, Jack Kirby thing, where we've got, like, Jack Kirby drawings and everything with Mark Waid kind of doing out this whole kind of story, this whole short kind of story. This was pretty cool for them to do, because it starts off and Steve has to get this cure from Stark Labs over to these S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and just seeing them just do his Captain America best, just hitting through and getting through the Red Skull's forces, and of course the Red Skull then authorized Batroc to be involved in it, and seeing this cool fight between Steve and Batroc. And it was just pretty cool, and we see towards the end that it was not a virus on human S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, but on LMDs, and that the cure was this little brain thing, which fits along with that kind of story back in the day, but Fury's explaining it to him that if these LMDs had gone down, real agents' lives would have been put into danger, and that even he has some LMDs that he uses to throw off Hydra's scent. And Steve's like, well, is there what I mean? He's like, hey, they've been trying to, but hey, Captain America, you're one of a kind. But it was just another kind of cool thing to see at the end and throw it and tie it in with the whole Captain America issue overall. So I like where this ended, how we're back to our kind of status quo, but we still got a good adventure that explained and explored why Steve is cool the way he is and what kind of makes him tick, and setting us up for the kind of next creative team while they're going to be doing some more showing like Steve's son and all that kind of stuff going on. So I'm excited for that and can't wait to see what happens next. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.